Hey guys, how you doing? This is JP Saricolia coming to you once again with another episode of Age of Heroes, my podcast. Of course, we're starting this week. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to talk about, and I want to concentrate on this. I want to get into it very quick. First, before we get into it, I want to give my thanks to every person that listens to the podcast, that follows me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Of course, the links are always down below. I always have interactions there, so you're more than welcome to participate, to follow me there. Also, thanks all the people that support me financially. You can do that through Patreon. Patreon is it's an opportunity for you to support me financially. Every dollar you give every month, it really supports me. But there's other ways you can do it. You can do it through PayPal, and also you can do it through GoFundMe. All the links are down below. So please consider that. It really helps me out and keeps me in the air, producing more content and bringing more reviews and, having this podcast live. So now let's get into it. Let's get into the podcast today. Of course, as you know, the big news of the weekend was Captain Marvel. Definitely, I went to watch the film with my wife. I really like it. I really enjoy the time. It's a good film. It's not a perfect film, and I wouldn't say it's even at the top 3 or even the top 5 of Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But it is of good quality. It's not a bad film. It has flaws like many films. It has, in many areas, I think that they could have just done better with some things. But I think the script, the story itself, and the way that they develop and the way they kind of put everything together, and it has to do with the direction. I think Brie Larson was great for what was given to her, and she did great. And I will review that in my YouTube channel. I will have the link, soon for those who are interested on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But definitely, I will have that. So stay tuned this week. I'll review it. Plus, I will review other movies on the MCU. I'm still reviewing movies, before Avengers Endgame. So I try to get to all of them before the time comes, and it really is around the corner. So I want to get into the news because definitely with Captain Marvel, as you know, has been a lot of controversy. A lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff, a lot of people being butthurt about it, a lot of people with a very fragile masculinity. A lot of men definitely showcase that they're not as strong as they think they are, or they claim to be. Because, I think, in my opinion, and I want to be honest here, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, because at the end of the day, like I said before in my previous podcast, you may like the movie or you may dislike the movie. That's besides the point. You review every single movie based on the value of that movie. You see everything at face value. You look at the movie and all the flaws, and you present that, and you try to get all the bias out of the way before you go into review it. However, many people don't have that, don't understand the difference. And a lot of people, they let their emotions guide them before they even make an assessment of something. And a lot of people have been doing that, and it's sad. Of course, throughout the weekend, there was a hate war all over the place, supporters of the movie, and of course, the haters of the movie and haters of Brie Larson. And of course, there's a lot of speculation. People saying, well, Brie Larson is racist, she's a feminist, and it's a bad thing to be feminist, to have, strong female values. But, whatever. People can say whatever they want to say. Freedom of speech, we can say that. However, I always tell that to people. Whatever you say, you have to deal with the consequences. People are going to come back after you. You might not like it, and they're going to put you down, and they're going to nail you against the wall, whether you accept it or not, whether you like it or not. And it happens to me too, because I went to some of those channels. There were some reviews. I saw one of the first reviews of the movie, and some people were posting some hateful remarks. So I posted something back. I just really asked, well, why you say that? And of course, I get a lot of people back and forth, not even the original poster, other people saying kind of hateful things and saying all kind of stuff, and they bring race and all that kind of stuff. So I reply back. I can be a bit snarky at times, and I reply back. So of course, you know what happened to me? I get all these messages on my channel from the same people that are replying to me, leaving racist remarks on my videos, and saying disliking the video. And there was a lot of dislikes, particularly on the previous podcast where I talk about this film. And all I can do is just simply say, reply back, delete the people, block them, and let it go. I'm not gonna just cry out. I'm not gonna suffer because some kid somewhere else, a 15-year-old kid, has just had his feelings hurt, and he doesn't know how to deal with difference of opinion. He doesn't know how to deal with that. And sadly, many men don't know how to deal with difference of opinion. We assume that because we have freedom of speech, it means that we can say whatever we want to say. And yeah, we can do that. However, we cannot cry wolf when people reply back to our comments. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing the thing that I do. I'm replying back, and I ask a simple question. If people get offended and then they're going to use the race as something to attack me, that has nothing to do with it. It really showcases this, that really sad. It really sad to see our society that instead of moving up, we're just going backwards day by day. People definitely, they try. The people that are always bring the race card, the people that always talk about race, are the people that are more offended by it than anybody else. And to be honest with you, I don't know why people are saying, well, in this case, Brie Larson is racist because she talked about white males. How can you be racist against your own people? This an oxymoron. That doesn't even make sense. You can be racist towards other people because you make differences of races, but all she ever known is being white. She is white. That's her color of skin. She might dislike some of the things her people do, like I do, like I'm Hispanic, and doesn't mean that I like everything Hispanics do, or I like every Hispanic food or any Hispanic music or anything that has to do with Hispanic, even the way we deal with certain things, or the way we, how temperamental are, or how passionate in certain things we are, is good and bad. So I know the ins and outs of my race, and that doesn't mean that I'm racist towards, just because I don't do certain things doesn't mean that I'm racist towards my people, or just because I see the flaws doesn't mean that I'm racist towards my people. That'd be like being racist against towards me, towards my color skin, towards my features, towards my past, my genes. So definitely people are using that. It's just the stupidest, I would say, remark or example someone can use. Saying, well, the movie has, people saying, well, the movie has feminist agenda. Well, what is the problem with that? It has a strong woman role, and the main role, there's a woman. And she cannot deny being a woman. She is not acting or trying to be a man. She's just a woman being strong. You don't like strong women. I'm sorry if you feel that you prefer weakling women. You prefer weak women that they just pretty much sit there like little slaves, and they sit there and they just abide by your rules, and that's how you like, your women to be. I'm sorry. So be it. I don't. I like women that have strong personality. I personally like that. I like women that are very strong. That's, to me, is seductive. To me, it's seductive to see a woman that has the strength to say what needs to be said and is not holding bars. I found that very sexy. A lot of men do that. Some men, don't do that. Some men prefer somebody that is more submissive. That's your point. That's your problem. That's your prerogative. You don't like the movie, fine. If you don't want to see it because of that, then so be it. The bottom line is this. You cannot criticize a movie if you don't watch it. If you don't watch it, then there's no right for you to say, oh, the movie's bad. And that's the problem that we've seen. And that's a lot of people, what happened with Rotten Tomatoes, with the critic score and all the scores. A lot of people, fans were going into Rotten Tomatoes, and they were pointed out that they didn't like the movie because of racist agenda, because of sexist agenda, and all of that. And they wouldn't watch it. It was trash, and they would just bring in the score down. So ultimately, Rotten Tomatoes did is just clear everything out. So, unfortunately, some good reviews, even bad reviews, which are, viable because people watched it, they were taken out because the numbers were not stacking up. I'm sorry, when you have a movie that has over 58,000 reviews first day, not even the Avengers Infinity War has that many in the entirety of its lifespan until this point. So that really shows that there's a lot of bias going on. And of course, people use that, oh, it's Disney is using the money to do this and that. I'm sorry. And they were coming up with all this saying the movie is going to flop. However, and that's a big however, the movie is not flopping. The movie is making a ton of money. Now, there is this, on the news we know this, the Captain Marvel breaks box office records in its opening weekend. You're looking at, the movie has made $153 million opening weekend in the U.S. alone and in North America. and $455 million worldwide. This movie just killed it. It's the movie that has made more money in just one single weekend from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's the biggest global debut for a women-fronted film ever and the second biggest debut for a superhero movie, right behind Marvel Studios' Avengers Infinity War. So in other words, he has made more money in the first weekend than, Wonder Woman. Probably more money than even the entire, DCU, the DC Extended Universe did on the first of all of them combined. So definitely, this is a juggernaut of a movie. Is it perfect? No, it's not. That doesn't mean that it's not making money. It doesn't mean that people are not interested in watching it. It doesn't mean that all the backlash that he had, it really has backfired on them. I can tell you one thing. I'm supporter of all movies. I'm supportive of a good movie. I'm supporter of that. I'm not going to hate a movie until I watch it. If I don't like it, then I can come back and say, well, the movie is trash. Then don't watch it. I can review it. But I can tell you one thing: the movie's not bad, and I'm a supporter of the MCU. I watch all the movies. There's so many different movies. Every movie has been different, with a different level of understanding, with a different story. They're different. There's different characters. That doesn't mean that the movies are bad. So the idea people have that, as long as if I criticize it, it's going to bring the movie down, people are now going to watch, and I'm going to bring this up. It really showcases how disjointed, how our society, how immature a lot of the people in our society are. And I can tell you one thing, it's happening. It feels like nowadays people feel that if I create some backlash, if I try to do all of this, then the movies are going to suffer. Well, I'm sorry, this movie is not suffering. It's not suffering at all, because all it's doing is fueling people to go and watch it even more. For people that didn't like it, and I'm not saying this because I know perhaps some of you and some of my good friends didn't like the movie. Some people, my good friends, I post that on Facebook, and Instagram, on Twitter, they didn't like the film. I respect them. Here in YouTube as well, I respect their opinion because they present those opinions with their own facts. And they put it in a respectful manner. That's all cool and dandy. I have no problem with that. The problem is when we try to enforce or force our opinion, saying that it's the law of the land, and we try to ridicule or criticize a person without no facts. That's what people are doing. And of course, they have spread all these rumors that Bree said this or Bree said that, and there's no real record of that. People take every text that they can find, and they take it out of context, because you have to go back in the context of the question that was given to her and she responded. And of course, they use that as the pretext for their own arguments, and that's the problem. You cannot take a text out of context, because then it becomes a pretext to say whatever you want to say and to change the meaning of words. She was never racist. She never said that. She just pointed something that, is a fact that is there, and the numbers don't lie. Of course, some movies are created with a people in mind. This movie was created with women in mind, and it's good because you know what? There's not many movies out there, superhero movies, that are directed for women. They have a message for women. Every movie has an agenda. Wonder Woman was a strong character. Definitely was a great movie for girls. I think Captain Marvel is the first one within the Marvel universe after 21 films. That also the demographics, the principal demographic that they're directing this is towards women. But you know what? I watched the movie and there's a lot of great messages there. Not only for women, only for boys, for men, for women in general, for every person. If you really look at a movie, and you put aside all this bias in your life and you start looking at the points of teaching, you can learn something. You can learn something from anything. As long as you pay. And there was a lot of really key moments in this film that I really felt comfortable with. I feel like, you know what? It's a great message, not only for women, but also for men, for every person that is willing to listen. I did that with Black Panther. I have done that with every movie. I'm not going to be limited because my considerations are, and I'm going to limit that. And I've seen that through all of this, even throughout these days and throughout, I see on Facebook people in the different groups saying, well, that's not the real Captain Marvel. And they try to make a comparison with Shazam, or in this case, Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel for Marvel Comics. And they try to say, well, that's my Captain Marvel. That's the real Captain Marvel. They try to make comparisons. I'm sorry. You need to put your comic book cap aside. This is not that Captain Marvel. This is a different Captain Marvel based on the new comics since 2012. So Mrs. Marvel, Carol Danvers, has been Captain Marvel, and that's the one they're doing. That's what young people are reading the comics, and that's the one people feel more comfortable with. It's being used not only in the comics, but also in the cartoons, and also as the character that has been used on the video games. So that's the one. So if you are, not keeping up with the times, and you're too old for this, I'm sorry, but you're also old for this. I know the real Captain Marvel. I know Shazam was the Captain Marvel. I know Captain Marvel. I love his story as well. But he's no longer the Captain Marvel. Now, Carol is. So if she is the Captain Marvel, then she deserves that respect. I feel that people are just letting their emotions guide them through the process. Like I said, some people didn't like my comments. They came to my channel and they disliked some of my videos. Even left some racist remarks and all of that. I delete all of that. I say, whatever. I'm gonna deal with that trouble no more with people that are like that. I'll just block them and just strip them out. You don't have to watch my stuff. Go somewhere else where they like your junk and you like your mentality and your mindset, where you feel that the world is all about you and not about everyone else. I have no problem with this film. I enjoyed it. And you know what? I welcome more of these films. Is it perfect? No, it is not. And it wasn't meant to be perfect. Was Brie Larson a good cast for it? Yes, she was. She's a great actress. I think she delivered in some of the serious moments. She might not be I would say, as a comedian like some other actors that they have this comedic element. She doesn't, but she delivered, and that's all it matters. And and that's what Marvel does. They normally cast young actresses and actors to play the part, and they deliver because it's good for them too. It's important for them to deliver in this stage. So definitely, I don't have a problem. I'm very happy for Marvel. I think that they're gonna continue increasing the money. Of course, it's gonna blow up, and now I'm excited for a lot of stuff here. What I like of this film, there's a lot of loose ends that were tied up. So now I'm hoping, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with Avengers Endgame. Of course, the Russo brothers, in my opinion, are much better directors. So definitely I feel that they are going to bring all this together and tie it very nicely, and I'm really hoping for it. So what is your opinion? I definitely feel that this is divided and divides people. I don't disagree with some people. Some people are pointing some stuff out. I have friends, and and my score and their score kind of matches. Some people give it higher score than I, some people lesser score, and I agree with some of those points that are presented. But I'm listening to people that they gave the opportunity to this movie and watched it. I'm not gonna listen to somebody that didn't watch it and it's just going by hearsay. Somebody said one thing and the other person said that, and he's going to get all offended because someone else told him that this person said that. I'm sorry, this is not kindergarten. This is not high school. We have to be bigger than that. Watch it and make your mind. If you don't like it, fine, just say it, but present the facts based on what you watch. Tell me exactly how it is. Make that real assessment. Just don't just make up something as you go and, and start saying that, oh, making fun of the lady, or even her physical attributes and saying that is because the girl doesn't have a butt, or because she is, she doesn't smile. Oh, that's just stupid stuff. That's definitely disrespectful because, if you're looking at that, then you definitely you don't watch the comics because you like the stories. You just like to watch the little cartoons, the images, because probably you don't know how to read. That's just bottom line. That's just my opinion. But, everyone is entitled to their opinion, and this is my space, and I can say whatever you want to say, and although some people don't like it and they unsubscribe, I'm sorry, So be it. This is my channel, and I try to be as fair as possible and as welcoming as possible, but I'm not going to just be a sellout. I'm just going to tell how I feel about certain things. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting this podcast. It really means a lot to me that you take time. So please follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. All the links are down below. Also, please consider supporting me financially. The only way that I can stay on the air is through your financial support. If you don't support me financially, well, there's not much I can do. There's not many reviews I can make or many videos I can make because I have to find ways to bring the money in. But if it, consider that, whatever you do, whether it's $1 a month through Patreon, it really helps out. If you can do that through PayPal, you can do that through, GoFundMe. All the links are down below. So once again, God bless you, and stay tuned for the reviews. There's more reviews coming this week. So God bless you. Talk to you again. Bye-bye.